My name's Martin Figura, and whilst I'm now a poet, for 25 years I was in the army, having left school at 15 to join and eventually rising to the rank of major. Through the Fierce Light project, I was asked to meet a veterans recall group at the Marion Road Day Centre in Norwich in my role as a writer. I was interested in hearing about their experiences, which predate mine, how they differed.
When I was in the army, I was an officer's batman then.
You were an officer's batman? Oh, so you had to polish his boots and his belts.
What was your rank in the army?
Major.
Yes, sir.
Were you a lance corporal or a private?
Private.
Oh, who can remember their army number?
1499 7860.
I can remember mine. 24272234. So you were 10 million before me. Respect. That's an old number.
Did you have someone clean your boots?
No. Did my own.
How much higher up it got to be if you were?
They just stopped doing that when I was, by the time I was in the army, we didn't have batmen. I bet I've got the shiniest shoes. Look. They're pretty shiny. I haven't bulled them though.
The group not only gave me the chance to share stories of life in the services, but of life in general. One thing we did have in common was that we remembered our army numbers. Whilst we talked, I wrote down what they told me. Words, phrases, thoughts. I had the idea of trying to capture things familiar to them in a poem, something that perhaps they might like to keep, and maybe even show others to help explain their experiences.
What about you, Elva? What about being in the RAF?
I was a bat woman.
You were a bat woman?
Yeah.
What sort of things did you get up to then on the camp, on the base?
I'm not telling you.
You're not telling, go on. You go to dances?
Yeah.
So this is the picture post. Remember the picture post, Billy?
Yeah.
I was driving.
Couldn't
Yeah.
quite do that.
Derek was driving.
You were a driver, Derek? Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, so I bet you had lots of girlfriends. Here's a question. Derek was a ladies' man.
Oh yes.
I'm afraid so.
What was your hair like? Was your hair a bit like mine?
Oh, my hair was all right. That's lard.
Put lard in your hair.
And then they pulled that.
Mine's hair wax, which is a bit like.
Do you wear a hairnet at night?
No. What sort of question did you wear? Do you wear a hairnet at
I
night?
don't need to. Not got much there, have we?
It was great to be at the group, and we managed to remind each other of many things that had slipped our minds over time. A couple of the veterans in particular seemed to have more they might want to say, so we arranged for me to talk to them some more. I first chatted with Ernest, and then a few days later went to meet Leslie at the home he shared with his daughter and son-in-law.
So, Ernest, we've brought our medals with us, so I've only got one, but you've got 4. So that one's a defence medal, which everyone got that served, yeah? 1939 to 1945. And this is yours because you were in Korea.
That's right, yeah.
So it's got Korea on the bar.
Yeah.
You got shot at by a Messerschmitt on the way in the Second World War.
I was in the Second World War when we were young. I didn't live in Earlham. Actually, we were shot at by Messerschmitt or Eignal, one of the two. And just little planes coming over.
On your way to the shops with your mum?
That's right, and there's gravel on the ground, stones and things were flying everywhere.
You ready to go, Leslie?
Whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to start asking you questions. So how old were you when the war started?
21.
And when did you join up?
I didn't join, they took me.
They took you got drafted?
Yeah,
So you went off and you did your training where?
at Deep Cut,
How long did you get training?
6 weeks.
Lots of shouting at you. So just 6 weeks training, then where did they send you?
Well, I went to India then. We took about 6 weeks to get there. Because going through the Suez Canal, I don't know whether the captain drunk a lot, but he caught down there, you know, there's all sorts of buoys.
Okay, yeah.
At the same, you've got to guide the ship through return. They didn't. He went to one side and he caught one of the hooks, one of the chains. And from then all the rest of the way to India, you go clunk, as it was going round on the feather shaft. Married in 47.
Yeah.
And almost as I got off the boat, I got married almost the same day, not quite.
It was had it all waiting for you.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've got a wedding photo here, haven't we?
That's it,
So
yeah.
you're in
bridesmaids.
uniform, not your D-mob suit yet. You're still in
No,
uniform.
yeah,
And I can't help but notice your tie that you're wearing.
yeah.
So what, can you tell us something about the tie?
But all I can tell you is that it was awarded to me when I became blind.
The blind veterans.
Yeah.
Back at the group the next week, it was time to read them their poems, to find out whether I'd managed to capture something of their lives. I was very nervous about whether they would like them or not.
I wrote poems about you all from last week. Should we do Ron first? So it's a poem about Ron Church. It was national service. I went in a boy and came out a man. They should bring it back. I got to see Nottingham and polish an officer's boot and Sam Brown belt, spat on the cloth, then circle after circle until I could see my face in them. Saturday night you'd find me in town, all teddy boy pomp, 3 inches taller with my greased up hair and crepe sole shoes, chatting up the girls. I knew how it was done. I went to school with Michael Caine. You know Alfie, he's Sir Michael now. After that I was a greaser on the railways, keeping things running smoothly in Swindon, another train town.
That's very good.
Is that all right, Ron?
Ron.
Very good.
Who we got next? Ernest. 22806585 signalman. Ernest has his grandfather's medal, the Great War for Civilization, 1914 to 19. His sapper's uncle's defence medal too, 1939 to 1945, and one of his own for service in defence of the principles of the Charter of the United Nations, Catterick, Salisbury Plain, then Korea. 2 years in a tent in a minefield, remembers the heat and the cold like yesterday, and the poor outnumbered glorious Gloucesters, nearly all lost or taken prisoner. At the Battle of Imjin River, 2 VCs and a George Cross, Ernest operated a switchboard for news and orders buzzing down the line. Once carried a secret message too precious for the post from Edinburgh Castle all the way to Inverness. After the army, Vauxhall cars in Luton, then the railways in Leeds, and to Norwich for a blind date, then 56 years of marriage. Ernest gave up smoking half a century ago. 30th of July 1966, the day England won the World Cup, Nobby Stiles dancing his toothless celebration jig on the fuzzy little screen of the rented telly.
Yeah.
Remember Nobby Stiles' dance? Leslie Flint, 14917860 Private Flint. Left the shelter, boarded a slow boat to Dehradun, India, where elephants pulled guns and the searing heat would soak your shirt and rot it on your back. Private Flint taught officers the ways of close quarter battle, pistols and machine guns, by the book. Rule 1, never speak to a man firing a weapon. You don't want him turning round. Burma and the Japanese were waiting. You couldn't have your weapon let you down. Even an officer must know how to dismantle and clean his gun, to lay out the parts and put it back together again, slick with oil. After the VJ party, Leslie Flint became a tool maker with an eye for precision and a shed to escape to. There was always something to fix. How was that, Leslie? Is that all right? Yeah. Did I get you right?
The Veterans Recall Group showed me once again how important words are in helping keep the past alive, and how important it is to share experiences of the times we have lived through, to remind others and ourselves that we mattered and still do.